Hello speeders from all Earths in the universe, and welcome to my review for The Flash Season 2. Just like I do with every TV review in this channel, I'm going to give you a review of the finale episode, followed by an overview of the season in general. So we start this episode off with Zoom killing off Barry's father right in front of him, and they start to race against each other. Flash chasing after Zoom, and we see that Zoom has now created another time remnant. As Flash catches up to him and starts beating him up to a pulp, the other Zoom appears and kills himself. So now Zoom tells Barry, you see, this is what I do. If I create enough versions of myself, I can continue to live on and on. So then after this, he challenges Barry to a race, and Barry accepts, because Zoom tells him that if he doesn't accept to race him, he's going to kill everyone Barry loves. As Barry prepares himself to face Zoom and race against him, Wells finds out that Zoom stole a magnetar from Mercury Labs. This is a device that will help Zoom create enough energy, if he does indeed race the Flash, to destroy every single Earth in the multiverse. And as he tells this to Barry, he still refuses to back out of the race. So then his friends lock him up in the prison for the metahumans. As Barry turns to them, feeling betrayed, they all tell him they decided this together. This is the best choice. And his friends are now going to devise their own plan to take down Zoom. They face Zoom off with their plan, and with their weapons they send Zoom back to Earth 2. But without them having the opportunity to stop him, Zoom takes Joe with him, and he's now in Zoom's prison. Joe wakes up in Zoom's prison and is strapped by chains, and he sees the man in the iron mask right in front of him. And Zoom finally tells him, this is the true Jay Garrick, a man who I took from Earth 2 when I was tired to just be the villain and I wanted to become the hero. And he tells his whole backstory, how he was created the same way Barry did, but when his speed started to fail and when he wasn't fast enough, he created a speed drug, the original version of Velocity 9. That's how he took the name Jay Garrick, and at this point in time it became pretty clear who Jay Garrick, the Face, would be. At this point in time in Earth 1, Wally finds out his father was taken and he confronts Cyrus about this. He then, without his friends knowing, releases Barry from his imprisonment, and now Barry is ready to face Zoom. He asks Cisco to vibe into Earth 1 so he can tell a message to Zoom. He accepts the race again, and he tells him to bring Joe. And Barry tells Zoom as well that if he does let Joe go, he will race him. He has to bring Joe with him back to Earth 1. Zoom accepts, but he tells Barry that he will only let Joe go after they race. So now they are ready to race, and they need to create 5 kilowatts of energy, which doesn't seem much, but I might get my numbers wrong. I know there's a 5 in there, but it might be 500, 5,000. I don't understand kilowatts. And so they start to race. They are running around the magnetar, they are creating a lot of energy, and meanwhile we see a Zoom and a Barry, and as they do another lap, we see 2 Barrys around Zoom. Barry has created a time remnant, and while one Barry continues to race Zoom, the other Barry goes down and saves Joe, takes him out of the magnetar, but Zoom now jumps out with Barry, but then we see the other Barry inside the magnetar still running around, and we see that he is destroyed. But the original Barry tells us he was willing to do that. He decided to do that to save his friends, to save Joe. And now Barry starts to beat Zoom up. His mask is ripped. Zoom is out. Barry now tells him, it's over, give up. And Zoom tells Barry, you won't kill me. I know you won't, because you have not done it before. And as we see a portal to the Speed Force open up, we see the Time Wraiths coming in, 2 of them, and Barry just tells Zoom he doesn't need to kill him. The Time Wraiths grab Zoom and they start to suck him out like the Mentors, and Zoom's flesh just becomes rotten and he becomes this flesh of a man. I can't even describe it. And Zoom now is done for. After this, we see Wells and Cisco trying to take the mask off the man in the iron mask, and he reveals himself to be Jay Garrick, played by John Wesley Shipp. He's this bearded fellow. He tells them he's the real Jay Garrick, and Barry sees this and he can't handle it. He goes to the corridor, he goes to be alone, but then Joe goes to him and Barry tells him, this man looks exactly like my father. Should I tell him? Should I not tell him? How can I possibly handle this? Barry decides not to tell him, and then Jay Garrick is now going into Earth 2. He's going to take Harry and Jesse with him. And I loved seeing John Wesley Shipp ship wearing his original suit. An updated version, of course, but the original suit he wore in his Flash season. He sees the hat and he tells the others that that was Zoom's creation. That was the thing that Zoom created it himself and did not take away from Jay Garrick. But now Jay Garrick decides that if this thing, this image of a Flash with a hat, gave so much hope to the people of Earth 2, he's going to wear it now and carry it on as a symbol of hope and finally take something from Zoom. Cisco vibes up a portal to take them to Earth 2 and they launch themselves in, and so we have a conclusion. After that we have Wally, Cisco, Caitlin, Joe, Iris, and Barry all hanging out at the house, and we see them all laughing and talking, but Barry is still very, very down. Barry walks out of the house into the porch and Iris goes with him, showing us another one of those moments where the Flash best shines in terms of script and in terms of connecting us to the characters and making them relatable. And he has a deep conversation with Iris about how he cannot handle this, about how he lost so much, and Iris tells him, you have lost so much in your life, it's only natural that you feel right now that you haven't won still. But Iris is now ready to start a relationship, which all throughout the season felt like she chose the worst times to bring that up, and it happened again this episode. But Barry's response was awesome to me, and it made this episode shine even brighter. Barry tells her exactly what I thought he should tell her, and that is, he's not in a place where he can handle a relationship right now. He's too emotionally broken and too emotionally jumbled to handle the pressures of a relationship with her right now. And so Iris tells him, go wherever you need to go, do whatever you need to do, but be assured that I'll be here waiting for you just like you waited for me for years. And so we see Barry taking off, he's running, and he's going to travel through time. We see him going into the Speed Force and arriving at the night his mother was murdered. He goes inside the house, he beats Reverse Flash up, he tells him, you're not going to kill her, you're not going to kill her this time, you're not going to kill her ever again. And so we see the Flash from season 1, because we see the little red only with the thunder, and Flash just looks at him and he disappears. And so we end up not having the finale from season 1 anymore, because that was a real punch to the gut. Those were some real stab wounds we got in the finale from season 1, and this was still a very emotional ending, but I now want to see what Flash deals with. We know that when Barry saves his mother, it means Flashpoint, and if they do indeed do Flashpoint, I want to see what characters they replace Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman with. I want to see who is going to be in this Flashpoint paradox in DC TV. A great finale to a great season of The Flash. The pacing was here and there at times in the season, but Barry keeps evolving as a character, and I like how he explored, together with his friends, the powers he had, how he kept evolving them to face the threat that was present. And that threat was Zoom, which actually, looking back and analyzing both the season and season 1, I think he actually becomes a better villain than Reverse Flash, because he starts out as being this physical villain, which he should be, because Reverse Flash was a very emotional driven villain that was very personal to Barry, and Zoom was this physical imposing threat that could take Barry down if he wanted to. But through time, Zoom pretended to be Jay Garrick, related to the Flash, he became their friend, and then we had the betrayal and the revelation. So Zoom now becomes a man who has betrayed the Flash, even though the Flash was already betrayed, and he should have learned his lesson. But Zoom can beat the Flash up both emotionally and physically. That makes him one of the best villains in television, and one that makes you indeed invested in knowing how our characters, our heroes, can take this guy down. I loved Harrison Wells in this season. Tom Cavanaugh just brought it yet again. His relationship with all the characters grows so much throughout the season. He has such different relationships with all these characters than he had from season 1, and he can do it so naturally. I love his relationship with Cisco. It's great. And Caitlin Snow, Danielle Panabaker, was great as well. You can see that she had so much fun playing Killer Frost, and she fitted the role perfectly. You did not doubt her as a villain, and you did not doubt that that was another version of Caitlin Snow from Earth 2. I love seeing Vibe from Earth 2. I love that Cisco now has his powers. They explored his powers as well as they did Barry's. Of course, he's not the main focus of the show, and he shouldn't become that, but I like how they explored his powers and how they kept evolving throughout the season and I like how they used them. Wally was up and down here because he was a very inconsistent character and a very emotionally contrasting character towards himself. In one scene he was okay with everything, in another scene he was complaining about how he never met his father, in the next scene he would want to live with them, but in the scene right after that he was jealous of Barry because someone told him no to something. This character seemed like a whiny brat at first. This character didn't know what he wanted. He seemed like a little kid, a spoiled kid at that. It made me cringe a couple of times as I was watching this season. And Jesse did not become an interesting enough character, so we had these two characters. One was a bad character and the other one was not a very interesting one. So when they are trapped in Gideon's room, I guess, and they get out just in the nick of time so they can be out when Barry goes into the Speed Force and they get their powers, they get hit by the wave of energy. I thought it was a little too convenient, and we all know what's going to come from that. I really liked one element of the show this season, and that was, during a lot of it, we had a lot of moments that were the tales of three fathers. We had Harrison Wells, we had Joe, we had Henry Allen. They all clashed at times, but you understood these characters' mentality and their reasons for acting the way they did, trying to protect their children at all times, but also wanting to defeat Zoom. They all had their reasons to wanting to defeat Zoom. Everything was personal towards every one of our heroes when it came to Zoom, and again, that makes him for such a great villain. As I told you before, Barry Allen and Grant Gustin as an actor both grow so much in this season. Flash's power was so well explored, and the Easter eggs throughout the season are great and are to drool for, because this season truly expanded the Flash as a character in every universe, and now we can have a hero like this on every single Earth in the multiverse, but his powers grew so much, and Barry in this season learned so much about himself, and now he can use his powers for good, and now he can grow as a hero. I love the episode directed by Kevin Smith. It was this emotional stab through our hearts for 40 minutes. To me, the Flash had problems in terms of pacing and problems in terms of introducing Wally and turning Jesse into an interesting character. But besides that, there was one really bad episode which I can't remember actually, but it's one beginning the second part of the season. I can't remember what it was about, but I remember I really didn't like that episode. But all our characters evolve. Our characters that we knew from season 1 are written great. Tom Cavanaugh as Harrison Wells, congratulations on pulling off another amazing role, and such a different one. I really like what they did with the Jay Garrick character in the end, paying homage to John Wesley Shipp and his Flash series, and Zoom was indeed a great villain. And I hope to see Harrison Wells back and Zoom back in some shape or form. I like this finale so much, and I really want to see what this entails, how he starts season 3 with. How is Barry's life going to be now? He has saved his mother. Is he now ready to move on with his life? And is his life everything he dreamed it was going to be as he saves his mother? I am going to give The Flash season 2 an amazeballs rating. What did you guys think of season 2? What did you think of the Flash, how he developed in the season, of his friends? What do you think of Cisco and Caitlin? How do you think they will be handled in season 3? What did you think of Zoom as a character, as a villain? What did you think of Harrison Wells and how he evolved? What do you want to see from Wally and Jesse as both speedsters in season 3? And how do you think life will go on Earth 2 as John Wesley Shipp plays Jay Garrick? I think they killed him off on Earth 1 so they can use him more as Jay Garrick and have him doing some action scenes with The Flash. Tomorrow I'll be releasing my Arrow Season 4 review, and after that I'm going to watch The Nice Guys, so tomorrow night be sure to come back and watch my Nice Guys movie review. You guys can also go to the Modern Gaffa. It's your #1 source for everything Saturday morning, and there are also links to my Facebook and my Instagram in the description below, so you can stalk me on the internet, and click the little subscribe button if you haven't, so you can get updated whenever I upload a video. And of course, I'll leave a link to my previous video right here. Thank you so much for watching this review of The Flash, the second season. Let me know what you thought of the season in general. Was it better than season 1? Was it worse? Let me know in the comments below. Let's start the conversation. Talk about all these characters that are coming in the show and that came into this show on season 2. Over here is my Alice Through the Looking Glass movie review. No spoilers there, you can go check it out. And before that, I also have my first ever unboxing. Don't forget to check the links in the description below, of course, and subscribe, like this video, and share with your friends so they can come here and discuss with us the second season of The Flash and every other season that I review on this channel. And of course, I will see you guys in the next review. Cheers.